Yes, hello everyone and welcome back to our weekly news wrap-up, RailFreight Fridays. And with me is Arie van Dijk.
Hi, good afternoon, and it's Friday again.
It is Friday. And
almost weekend.
Almost weekend, a moment to relax. So, what are we going to do? We're going to have a look at the news of this week. Now, yesterday there was important news announced by SER, and SER launched its COVID impact tracker. This is a tool to track the impact of COVID on railways in general. And if you see the numbers at first hand, you would think, wow, this is 50 billion euros in the last 2 years in losses. But then if you scroll down, it is actually not so bad because RailFreight lost 4 billion euros in 2021. And yes, that's a lot of money, but if you compare it to passenger traffic, it's not so bad. And then if we scroll down a little bit further, you can see a graphic here. And there was a dip, a serious dip, by the end of 2020, beginning of 2021. But then it remained stable at around minus 10% in terms of losses. And by the end of the year, we were already at minus 4%, which means almost back to normal. So yes, bad news, but for RailFreight, not so bad news.
So, Majorie, but what's the major impact on the supply chain of Corona? What is it? Are the people getting sick who work on the trains or on the terminals? Or is there just less volume to be moved?
It's both. I think it's the first thing, of course, is in every industry, but there's also a lot of less production because in every industry there's less people working, so there's also less output, less cargo. So that is the impact. But of course, passengers are much more restricted because they cannot always move, and a lot of restrictions in public transport. So that is the main difference.
Yeah, exactly. And if you see, okay, the things are developing in a positive sense. So most probably at the current situation in February, we are perhaps back to normal.
We guess so, yes, we guess so.
Wow.
We don't know because the graphic doesn't continue.
Quite interesting.
Yes.
Well, read the entire article, people, go to the website.
Yes. So that was actually yesterday. And then we have other news, which was a little bit earlier this week from Hungary. There was a major investment from the Hungarian government, and that was in the border area of Záhony region. And Záhony region is the border area with Ukraine. And why is this such an important place? Because it's the place where traffic enters from Ukraine into Hungary. And Hungary really wants to play a big role on the new Silk Road. And this is the place where trains are coming in. Currently, East-West Gate is building its new terminal there in Fenyes-Liedke. And this terminal is going to open in March this spring. So that is very big news. And they will surely benefit because it is actually going to benefit the south part of this infrastructure, but the whole area is being invested in after Russia also announced that they're going to invest in the country.
So Majorie, explain to me, how is now developed? Because there's of course a lot of political tension and we hear a lot of crazy stories about what's going on, but if you talk to people on the ground, they say, well, it's business as usual.
Yes.
What's your perspective?
Well, I think this is always the case. There is a lot of negative travel advice for a certain country, and that is always there if there's the smallest risk. But the people in Ukraine at this point don't notice it. And traffic still continues. The problem between Poland and Ukraine has been solved. There is no problem as we speak between Russia and Ukraine on the border. Trains are running as usual. So if you ask people in Ukraine, they're very positive about RailFreight, and they have traffic coming from Lithuania very soon because Lithuania can no longer ship through Belarus. This is a real problem. But as an alternative, they have looked into the route via Ukraine. So Ukraine is seeing new potential.
So if I'm understanding correctly, it's in everybody's interest, including all the parties who are in conflict with each other right now. It's in everyone's interest to build the Silk Road.
Of course, that was always the case, yeah. And actually, Eurogate has just launched this new network to Fenyes-Liedke. Eurogate was also there on the trip to Fenyes-Liedke when we all went there to see the terminal. And they have now launched their new network, which means they have taken it seriously. And the network goes from Budapest, Vienna, Milan, Munich, Duisburg and Hamburg all to Fenyes-Liedke, which means the big major hubs of Europe are now connected. And this is even ahead of the terminal opening. So that is very good news for Hungary. Now, we're also here to talk about our events, and we have quite a lot coming up.
For sure, yeah. So we have built the event for RailFreight quite big in the last couple of years. Of course, every year we go to Poland. We've been to Wrocław and Gdansk and Łódź. And now this year, again, we're going back to Poland. But we added a number of different events. The Silk Road Summit will take place in Duisburg. But the first event which will take place is in Lithuania. And it's in the 5th and 6th of April. So that's quite soon already. And we got a short video to show. Yeah, so as you can see, a lot of exciting things coming up, especially in the beginning of April, we're going to Lithuania. And the idea for this event is to really take the rail business and take it to Lithuania and explore together what are the opportunities. So what are the port opportunities? What are the logistical opportunities? How is it connected to the rest of Europe? We really want to take the rail freight industry and the community and take it together and go to places we've never gone before. So that's why we're going there, right, Majorie?
That's exactly why we're going there. And that is the whole thing about RailFreight on Tour. RailFreight on Tour is visiting a lot of different places. So also Ukraine in June and Hungary in October. And next year we have a lot of other destinations. But you will hear us about that later.
Exactly. So what can you expect when you get there? You'll get a good insight in the local players. We're going to visit the local terminals and the facilities which are there. So you can really get to know the people who are the big players who are active in the market. But also, of course, like for instance in Lithuania, we've got the Minister of Transport on stage, and they will share with you some key insights on how they are developing, what their ambitions are, and what's the opportunity for you, of course, as industry player. So for sure, make sure you don't miss it. And if you don't feel like traveling already, you can also watch online. So be with us.
Yes.
Right?
And then finally, last but not least, we have promised that this is not the only moment we appear on YouTube. We have a lot of other video content, some of it which I want to show. This is our YouTube channel, as you know, and we have the RailFreight Fridays, but we also have the RailFreight interviews. Now, I'm scrolling down a little bit.
Do you mean the CEO talks?
No, I mean RailFreight interviews.
I like those.
Because we have CEO Talks where we talk to CEOs, obviously, but we interview a lot of people. And Wednesday, my colleague has interviewed Dimitri Hasenkamp. He has just moved to RTSB from his old company. He was here in the studio with us, and just this morning, we have uploaded his interviews. So you can go ahead, have a look, and we will surely update you on the latest.
So what was his key message?
That he's
Give me some
very
sneak.
happy with the family atmosphere in RTSB.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really? Yeah, it sounds like a great company.
Yes. All right, that's it for this week. This was the weekly news wrap-up. We will see you next week.
Exactly. So make sure you watch our website and also register for our events. And then perhaps I'll see you in Lithuania in April. Bye.